Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Qin Shi Huang was the ruler who unified China for the first time in history, ending centuries of constant war. He standardized writing, currency, and laws, creating the foundation of a single, united empire. But he ruled with extreme harshness, punishing dissent brutally and controlling every aspect of life. He ordered massive construction projects, including the early Great Wall and his vast underground mausoleum guarded by the Terracotta Army. Obsessed with immortality, he searched endlessly for ways to live forever. Even after his death, his legacy remains a mix of absolute power, fear, and monumental achievements.
Fact 1. Walter Raleigh was one of England's most influential seafarers, explorers, and early architects of empire. Walter Raleigh was far more than an adventure-seeking sailor. He was one of the defining symbols of England's young and still shaping imperial ambitions. In the late 16th century, England was neither as wealthy as Spain nor as experienced at sea as Portugal. Yet it was figures like Raleigh, bold, strategic, and politically agile, who began pushing this relatively small island nation onto the world stage. When Raleigh set sail across the oceans, he was not simply searching for new lands. He was expanding England's borders, not in imagination, but on real maps. Thanks to his initiatives, plans for new colonies were drawn up. The foundations of the first English settlements on the North American coast were laid, and new trade routes were identified and pursued. Beyond the seas, Raleigh was also a powerful presence at court. Having gained the trust of Queen Elizabeth I, he became one of the central minds behind England's imperial strategy. His ideas left their mark not only on maritime ventures, but also on the political decisions of the royal court. Raleigh's unmatched courage, foresight, and spirit of adventure made him one of the key figures who set England on the long path toward becoming a global power. Fact 2. He was one of Queen Elizabeth I's most trusted and admired courtiers. Walter Raleigh's rise at court was no accident. He was one of the rare men whose intellect, courage, and natural charisma managed to capture the attention of Queen Elizabeth I herself. Their relationship was far from a typical ruler-servant dynamic. The Queen admired Raleigh's way of thinking, his eloquence, and his sharp political instincts. Chroniclers of the time even referred to Raleigh as the brightest star of the court. Raleigh's closeness to the Queen was built not only on boldness, but also on political finesse. Elizabeth relied on him as an advisor on matters that shaped the fate of the kingdom and entrusted him with sensitive missions. Even a seemingly simple naval expedition could turn into a crucial political assignment that strengthened Raleigh's position at court. According to a popular tale, Raleigh once threw his cloak over a puddle so the Queen's feet would not get wet. Whether or not the story is true, it captures how captivating and gallant he appeared within the royal circle. Raleigh's relationship with Elizabeth earned him fame, wealth, and high rank, but it also made him many enemies. Winning the Queen's favor in the Elizabethan court meant attracting admiration and resentment in equal measure. Much of Raleigh's rise and eventual downfall can be traced back to this powerful yet perilous bond with the Queen. Fact 3. Raleigh played a key role in giving the name Virginia. The idea of establishing the first English colonies on the eastern shores of North America is inseparable from the name of Walter Raleigh. At a time when England was searching for new territories, Raleigh was among the first to explain to Queen Elizabeth the strategic and economic advantages of founding settlements in this region. It was Raleigh who proposed the name Virginia for the English domain to be established in North America. The choice was far from random. It referenced Queen Elizabeth I's famous title, the Virgin Queen. In doing so, Raleigh not only expressed his loyalty to the Queen, but also symbolically tied the newly claimed lands to her reign. The name Virginia soon came to represent not just a region, but an entire chapter in colonial history. Under Raleigh's initiative, the first English settlement in the area, Roanoke, was founded. Although it later became known as the Lost Colony, the attempt paved the way for the establishment of Jamestown and eventually the broader English colonization of America. The name Raleigh, selected in honor of his queen, endures to this day as one of the oldest states in the United States. a lasting reminder of Raleigh's far-reaching influence on history. Fact 4. Roanoke, the greatest mystery behind Raleigh's Lost Colony. One of Walter Raleigh's most famous undertakings, and the one that etched his name into history, was the creation of the Roanoke colony. It was among the earliest and boldest attempts by England to establish a permanent settlement in North America. For Raleigh, this colony was not merely a path to personal glory. He saw it as a crucial step towards securing England's foothold in the New World. In 1585, the first settlement was established on Roanoke Island. Thanks to Raleigh's financial support, political influence, and careful planning, the expedition became a reality. Yet harsher than expected conditions, damaged relations with local tribes, and severe food shortages soon pushed the colony into crisis. But the most mysterious event occurred in 1590. When the English returned to Roanoke, they found the settlement completely abandoned. No bodies, no signs of battle, no survivors, only a single word carved into a tree: Croatoan. This enigma became known as America's first lost colony, and historians still have no definitive explanation for its fate. Some believe the settlers died of starvation, others think they integrated with nearby Native American tribes, and more speculative theories suggest a sudden attack or a mass relocation. The Roanoke disappearance became one of the most haunting and enigmatic chapters of Raleigh's legacy. Although his efforts ultimately paved the way for later successful colonies like Jamestown, Roanoke remains one of the greatest mysteries that continues to puzzle historians to this day. Fact 5. Raleigh's religious views strengthened his standing at court, yet also drew him closer to danger. Walter Raleigh was known not as a religious fanatic, but as a man of practical, thoughtful, and tolerant beliefs. Although he supported the Protestant ideology that dominated England, he did not treat strict religious rules or doctrinal disputes as sacred missions. This set him apart from many courtiers of his time. Raleigh's position on religion was not hypocritical. He defended the political interests of Protestant England. Yet on a personal level, he disliked interfering with anyone's private faith. For example, he did not see all Catholics as enemies. He opposed giving religion excessive control over state policy, and in his philosophical writings, he emphasized free will and freedom of thought. But this moderate and open-minded stance often put him at odds with the stricter Protestant factions at court. To the Puritans, Raleigh was not pious enough, while to the pro-Spanish Catholic circles, he was a dangerous Protestant strategist. One of the most striking aspects of his religious outlook was the deep calm and almost fatalistic acceptance he showed before his execution. Raleigh's final words reflected not religious fanaticism, but a belief in divine justice and human dignity. Fact 6. Raleigh was one of the key figures who popularized tobacco in England. Walter Raleigh is considered one of the most important figures in making tobacco popular in England. He introduced tobacco from North America and promoted it among the royal court and the aristocracy. Raleigh's personal use of tobacco quickly turned it into a fashionable trend, leading to its widespread adoption throughout England. According to a famous anecdote, Raleigh's servants once saw him smoking and, thinking he was on fire, threw water on him. Fact 7. Raleigh also stood out for his contributions to literature and poetry. Walter Raleigh was not only an explorer and statesman, but also a skilled poet. His poetry reflected the elegant style of Elizabethan literature. Although Raleigh did not write many poems, his works are highly valued for their sincerity and philosophical depth. He also supported young writers, especially Edmund Spenser. Spenser even dedicated the Faerie Queene to him. Fact 8. Raleigh's search for El Dorado was one of his most ambitious expeditions. Walter Raleigh, in the later years of his life, launched an expedition to South America in hopes of finding the legendary golden city known as El Dorado. He traveled along the Orinoco River, gathering valuable information about the region's geography and natural environment. After returning to England, Raleigh's reports attracted great interest across Europe and helped spread the myth of El Dorado even further. However, the expedition failed to produce any real results. Fact 9. Raleigh's downfall was tied to political intrigue and court rivalries. Walter Raleigh's fall from power resulted more from court politics than from his own mistakes. He had made powerful enemies among high-ranking officials, and his influence declined sharply during the reign of King James I. Raleigh's hardline stance against Spain clashed with the new king's preference for diplomatic reconciliation. As a result, he was accused of treason and imprisoned for many years in the Tower of London. This turn of events permanently weakened his political career. Fact 10. Raleigh's death reflected the dramatic dignity of his character. Walter Raleigh was executed in 1618 after being accused once again of jeopardizing relations with Spain. He faced his death sentence with remarkable calm and courage. Raleigh's final words revealed his deeply reflective and fatalistic worldview. He reportedly said, "Death is a noble end," as he walked toward the scaffold. Witnesses noted his composure and the dignified manner in which he prepared for the execution. His death became a lasting symbol of both political sacrifice and personal bravery in English history. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for more.